All right. Welcome to the podcast, mate. It's been a little while to get you here, and we've obviously been following each other for a little while, so I'm pretty excited actually about this podcast.
Yeah, I'm one of the
original.
I'm one of the early. But you were in hundreds when I was around.
100%. Like, you were right there at the beginning, and especially when I started the daily vlog, you're there every day, egging me on, and there was people like yourself who made it worthwhile continuing as well, because it was like it gave validation to my point, which was consistency matters, and having those people come back time and time again was what it was all about. So thank you. Appreciate it. But for anyone who somehow doesn't know you on TikTok, can you give it a little quick introduction who you are and where you've come from?
Cool.
Yeah, go for it. Straight to the camera.
Curated. My name's Louis Davis. I'm from the far north. I'm from a real small place, a little beach, about 80 people. And I grew up in the middle of nowhere. And then when I went away to university, I just fell in love with making videos. Became super passionate about telling stories. I'll tell the long version just because
please. I'd love to.
So in my first year university class, can I talk to you now?
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me now. Yeah, you've done the intro. Intro's done.
So in my first year university class, a lecturer, crazy lecturer, his name's David Mackay, and he's this old Scottish fella, and he used to come in dancing like Ellen DeGeneres. He should give out money and lectures. He just was super passionate about you wanting to go to his lecture. It was Friday, 8 a.m. People were there. Like, he was just so amazing at making learning awesome.
I love that.
And he gave everyone an A+ on a 20% assignment. He gave the whole 200 people next year A+, and he said, I've given you the grade. You have 3 weeks. You have no pressure. I want you to go out there with something that you love and convince someone else to pay you for it.
So cool.
So me and my mate that I met in my first year sitting next to us in university, we're like, Jules, I was like, let's just start documenting our story. Let's make videos. And we started this blog called Two Kids at University.
Yep.
And we just started making videos about being two mates at university, being in a student journey. We started throwing parties and documenting as well. And at this time, there's no one really doing this in New Zealand. It's such a small group of people doing it. And within 3 months, we had more followers in university, all the bars in our city. So and then the bars came to us and what can we do together? What can you do with us for O week? And then that's how me and Jules paid our whole way through university.
I love it.
And then we were coming towards the end of university, and I was like, man, I was so into it.
Yeah.
But Jules hated it.
Yeah.
He won't mind me saying that. He hated making videos, which is funny because he actually got him back into it because he owns a design agency now. So he's actually got him back into making videos now. So it's kind of funny. But at the end, he was like, I hate this. And we were emceeing a gig with Nero, like a Grammy recording artist, at the time, we were on top of the world, we're making more money than we had, and life was great. But he was like, bro, I hate this. I don't want to make content. I hate this. I hate having to always be thinking about videos, which is out of it because I loved that every day I was thinking about videos. I was thinking about stories. I was thinking about how this could be a moment, how we could share it, how it could be special, how it could be fun and interesting. But he hated that. He always had to think like that. And I was like, bro, your friendship with me is more important than us, this joint thing that we have going together. And so we stopped so that we could graduate, get jobs, finish, and also so that our friendship stayed intact. Yeah. And but that itch was there. Yep. But around about that time, I got engaged to my lovely wife. Yep. And I was like, I need to get a real job. I need to get a proper job. So I left that. I parked that. Yeah. And I went and worked in the university sector. Okay. With students, and I used heaps of those skills, of storytelling, building culture, showing the experience of what it means to come here. And I stayed attached to it, but there was always this feeling of man, I'd love the opportunity to get back into that. Fast forward many years, TikTok, end of 2020. Yep. It must have been during the first lockdown. That's March, I think. Yeah, 2020.
Early 2020. Yep.
And I just start making videos again on TikTok, just random videos. I don't care. I just love the game of it. I just love the game, making videos, see what happens. First time my video blew, it was 16,000 views. I was like, yo, that's good. All that rush came out, all those, and I loved that TikTok felt like a fair app. It was the people's app. The video will win. Doesn't matter if you have 1 or 1 million followers. If you have a good idea, the good idea will work. And I started making videos again, and I've just made videos every day since then. Yeah. I make 10 to 15 videos a day. I post 2 videos every morning, 2 videos every night because I just love making videos. And it's the superpower I have with making content is I don't get sick of it.
Yeah.
So people burn out. I haven't yet. Maybe it's coming. Maybe I'm just backline's coming, but I every day make videos, think about making videos. I was telling you before I got on here, I was making a video at my breakfast at the hotel. So it's like, it's a superpower with making content if you are not fatigued by it at all. Yeah. So sometimes it can annoy other people around me, or you have to like check yourself. Like I was mowing the lawn last week, pushing along, and I was thinking about how it can be a story, like what it's like when the lawnmower doesn't start or the clippings. And I was, just mow the lawn, you dickhead. Like it's like you had sometimes like you're just digging where you shouldn't be digging, and just do what you're doing. But that's how my brain works. It works. And then it was the same when I had kids. So I had kids, and obviously I love my kids. Like every parent taking videos and photos all the time, but I also am passionate about storytelling. So those two things are married together. And then that was when everything changed for me, you know? And then I had the opportunity to start thinking about, this is what I actually want to do. Like I actually can see I can make money, you know, from doing this. You know, my first ever brand deal was a government campaign for voting. So like every government message, health message has to tiriti obligations. They have to be considering like how we're honouring rangatahi Māori, how we're serving Māori communities. And I'm a Māori creator that's good at making videos, and I'm family friendly. You know, I never use the joke of being hoary or dumb or I don't use all the stereotypes that a lot of Māori creators use to be funny or to get clicks. Like I'm a different story that is just great for those campaigns. And then I started seeing, as more and more opportunities came, and then started working with mainstream brands and stuff, I could go home. You know, I could leave my real nice job at university, and I could go live on my whenua, you know, fish and dive where I grew up, be around my kids all day, not have to go anywhere. You know, everyone works for someone in some regard,
of course.
But I'm at home, and that was the most important thing. And then, you know, last year, I started to prepare for that. You know, around about October, I was like just making viral videos every day, which I'm very good at thinking about it. I had one of my real good friends, Terrell Tuffa, is content creator, one of the best in New Zealand. He's like 100%. Incredible at planning hooks, editing, knows every detail, every frame to give it the highest chance of going. And like I'm super passionate about just making viral videos, but what was happening is I don't think I was building a connection with the audience. They weren't in my home. They didn't care deeply about my family or my highs, my lows, my successes. I didn't belong to them. You know, I wasn't their little creator that was theirs. And I wanted them to feel like I was theirs. And so we pivoted. We started telling stories. And this was easy because I'm just so into my kids. Where I started telling stories about what they eat, you know, like them not sleeping, like what we do together, our rhythms, our routines. And these people all around the world know my family, know our story. You know, and when I do brand deals for them, it's like, oh man, that's cool that I don't look like a sellout because they get the bag and they get to be home, and I'm real happy for them.
That's
you know?
awesome.
And so I don't. If I had, you know, kept making dancing videos or it'd be all trends, then it's harder for the audience to want me to get a bag like doing a brand deal, but because it enables me to be home, and my cause and my purpose is that I get to be with my kids and with my family. Everyone just the bag, Louis.
100%. I love that because we talk about that. Actually, can I just ask a cut in? Can you? I think this volume's on. There's like a real feedback for us, but I love that because we talk about that with clients. Like, there's one thing about getting heaps of views, but and getting lots of people following because they want to laugh or they want to follow along. But like, especially because we work with businesses a lot of time, right? And they're going, okay, cool, great, we got all these views and laughs and things, but like, what does that even mean? Like, do they care about us? Like, do they want to purchase from us? Do they want to refer us to clients and things? And we got a client, Orion, who, you know, he blew up real fast with the guys. He within like the first couple months, he hit over 10K and he started having a couple million of views and things. And it was real crack up content, but he's like a successful businessman. He won Pacifica Businessman of the Year last year, Entrepreneur of the Year, all this good stuff. But his content was funny and for the laughs. And it was like a real reality check for Joni to go, because he's like, cool, I got all these people, but people don't love me. Like, people are just here to laugh at me, not with me. Like, we're not friends. He's like, but I've done this not to get business. I've done this to support my community. And I think my community thinks I'm against them at the moment because I'm just taking the piss. And it was a real big wake up call for our team to go, how do you shift this content to make his community want him to succeed, not just want to laugh at him? And so that was a real big one for like even Joni, right? Because, like, she's fucking good at she's talented at what she does, but she couldn't figure out how to switch it to go, don't just get the laughs, but get the people who care about our people. And I think that was a real good shift. So it's cool to hear you went through that journey too, because it's not intuitive at the beginning, right? Because you're just chasing views, because like it's cool to make viral videos, like that high, like we all get that high. Like when we have a video go off on the team, everyone's on fucking TikTok looking at like, oh, comment, that was it. Yeah, exactly, right? That's exactly it. So it's cool when you start to like build that community with it, which is, we talk it a lot here. Like there's fan acquisition and fan service, and you have the acquisition content to bring everyone in, but it's the service ones that really matter. And if you're not doing those, like at the moment, like
not all views are created equal.
Nah, exactly. Yeah. And we say that to Joni, like it's okay that you're only getting 50, 100,000 views on the attention seeker, because actually they're building they're getting to know us way more in depth. And so it's really cool. Well, thanks for that like awesome intro, honestly, because that's all my notes. So I'm going to break down some of the stuff because I really want to dig into some of that crap. So the thing I actually want to start with, which is probably I didn't know would get in here, is this Jules story. And the only reason I want to start on that is that I've been having this conversation a lot lately about people who make content or trying to force themselves to keep making content. And there's like this school of thought of, if you just do it long enough, and exposure therapy essentially is what it's called. You expose yourself to the thing you hate the most, you'll eventually get used to it. And we had a bit of debate here in another podcast for another client the other day, where they believed in it. They're like, if you don't like rats, you just have rats around you, you'll eventually love rats. And so the same thing with content, right? Like, and like it's this whole scientific study about it and stuff. And I was like, I just don't think it's true. Like I just like, and so in Jules's case, like he was around videos all the time, but he never got to your point where he loved it. Maybe now he's going, oh, I got business and I need to do some stuff. But like,
well, he's actually very good at it. Like he's a very good storyteller, and like, but yeah, if you don't love it,
you don't love it, right? And there's a guy, Matt Bray or something, I can't remember his name, from Yes Theory. Do you know Yes Theory? Yeah. So one of the original founders who he quit Yes Theory after getting to 10 million followers. He just he didn't love it either. He just was like, nah, I'm over it. I can't handle all this stuff. I'm gone. Even though it's very good story. Obviously, Yes Theory are awesome at what they do. And my partner, Claire, like she doesn't love it. Like that's why she doesn't do socials. She's not really on it. She hates it when I put her on mine. Oh, she doesn't hate it when she puts mine, but she's like not always keen. And she's always gets a nervous thing in her stomach every time she knows she's on one of my vlogs. So with Jules, like, what was that like? Like, how did he get to the point where he is now, where he's like, okay, I'm gonna jump back on?
Well, I think that's business now, and that's why your business exists. You know, like that you have to tell the story, because people have to care about your business now. Like small, medium, big, people have to care about your story. You know, and now with apps like TikTok. Everyone, from if you're just baking in your kitchen, saying like, there's so many stories now, you know, where like just the mob comes in and supports your business, sells you out, you know, like Keith Lee, like what he's doing with small businesses and stuff. Like people have to care. They have to have a story, and they have to care. There has to be the Got Talent golden buzzer moment that connects you to the story. Ian Tungi winning American, like that. You have to. This is the age that we live in. You can't just have a great product or great service. No one cares. No one cares. You can be the best at what you do, but if you can't tell the story of it being great, you know, it won't matter. And so I think that would be his answer for Jules will be watching this like, I think that's my story. But at our partnership though was that there is no one who works a room like Jules. He's the most gifted. Cool. He's the most gifted person at connecting with everyone in any space. Like, and so start going back to a university hall. He's that first kid that just lit the whole hall up. Everyone knew him. Everyone wanted to know. It didn't matter who you're from, and that's why you need something. Or Jules knows someone in every single pocket. It doesn't matter. Whatever you need, Jules knows someone for that. And his talent was that, you know. And we used to have these big gigs you know, with thousands of people.
Yeah.
And it was his electricity that could spark that whole space, you know, like how he could create the sense of that is where I want to be, that's where I want to go. You know, me and him did this event for we had a deal with Rhythm and Vines.
Okay,
we worked for Rhythm and Vines, and
Yep.
we took 2 kids from every university in New Zealand, and it was the idea of doing a festival with strangers. And we had our own campsite, and we took them all VIP to R&V.
Awesome.
And like but it's his vision, it's his electricity, it's he can connect people like you've never seen before, you know, like
cool.
like we had one time when we were at university, we ended up working with a Super Rugby team. I won't say the name of the Super Rugby team, but we were just like, why don't you just give us 1,000 tickets?
Yeah.
Just give us 1,000 tickets and we'll show you what we can do. We'll show you our impact.
Yeah.
And then, you know, this is like the day before the game. They gave us 1,000 tickets. We had 1,000 students there in the zone. And imagine the stadium.
Love it.
Like the stadium is dead, empty. Then our square, which we put up like pigtail fence around the square, our square is just going crazy. It's a packed square where no one's leaving this boxed-in square. Everyone's off their face. It doesn't matter the play, just cheering the whole entire game. And but that's Jules. Jules knocking on doors. Jules a stats. Jules a Snapchat. Jules could
round people up.
The single most influential student in the history of Waikato University. I said it.
Yeah.
Poor you white cats listening.
I love that. That's so good. Talk to me a little bit about, like you said, you guys were making it, paid your way through uni and stuff like that. Like, can you give a number of like what that looked like for you? Like how much you were earning?
So like I can't remember, but it was like $700 a week, and I'm a student 12 years ago. So at that, like you could live in a cupboard for $50 in Hamilton at that time. You know, rent wasn't what it was. Yeah. So that's like well, I think that's more. Sorry, that's like twice what a student makes now. So I don't know.
100%.
Like that sucks, but that's a side tangent.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
So we could live our student life. And this is at a time where, still going now, there's only Jimmy, there's only Terrell from Cougar Boys, and then pretty much everyone else is finished. The biggest craze at the time was Jamie, and she's done. She's finished many years ago. Shan's, I don't want to say she's pretty much finished, but she's just not, she doesn't do what she used to do.
Yeah.
Chris, shout out to Chris Fox, still around, still doing stuff, but only Jimmy and Terrell at the same level 100%. They're at the end that they are now. And like so much labor used to be on the creator to convince the brand. Like agencies didn't exist, and you had to convince the brand that you had any value to offer. Yeah. And social media is required to so aggressively prove the ROI, like for their work. Like, and every other form of marketing, every other form of brand awareness has like, they don't have to prove jack. They don't have to prove it. Like nothing. Somewhere along the way, people that did the back of buses convinced someone that they had so much value to offer these brands. The back of buses were just that's where people want to like hear the good word, you know, on the back of buses or billboards, and they've just never had to account for that. No. They've never had to explain or prove their impact. No. You know, every time I see those breathers with the glue like sticking those posters, I always think, like, are these auto rollover subscriptions? Like, are these like Sky subscriptions in hospitals? Because like, why do they not have to prove? But every creator has to every agency has to aggressively prove to clients like what the impact of that video that got 500,000 views was.
Exactly.
Or why crazy. The 40,000 view video was like, oh no, we don't do that again.
Nah. It's so funny. And they take like buses and billboards are crazy because they take traffic reports by the government that show how much traffic there is. And they go, oh, we've got this much traffic. And it's like, there's so many billboards and buses. We don't even look at it, right? Like we're immune to them these days, right? There's no interaction. There's no way to build a community with them.
That's hilarious.
That's honestly what
the confidence. I admire the confidence.
That is, that's too funny. And
and do the billboard people do the weather? Like this many people would be outside because it was sunny.
That's literally what they do, bro. The average drive-bys. Yeah. And it's the same in like footfall and shopping centers, right? Like, you know, the display ads that you see on the TV, same thing. Oh,
they got it sweet.
Yeah, they just go, oh, this many people walk past it. Like, what does that even mean? Like, it means nothing. Like, whereas, like, yeah, you're right. With creators, it's like, well, how many people commented? How many engagements?
You should interview someone that is just passionately on the other side. Because we're obviously shitting on it, but there must be like a great there must be something happening in these meetings.
Yeah. You know what it is?
It can't be as simple as they just automatically invest the budget in it.
What it is because it's so ingrained and been happening for so long, and those businesses who own it, so like Media and all those sorts of guys, they're such big organizations because they all consolidated, right? That's how industries start. Like right now, the creator agency world is quite fractured. It'll get consolidated at some point, and there'll be 5 or 6 players, maybe 3 or 4. But they've consolidated billboards, so there's strength in those deals, and it's New Zealand, so it's like the guy from Media goes to ASB and he's like, "Hey, you know my mate Dave, yeah, we're mates. We should do this deal together." And because we're so big and we're Media and we've got all this force behind us, we're going to consistently tap you until you give us that money. Whereas, like, you think about your agency that you run with, like, they just don't have that level of resource. They just can't do that, and it's still too new. And so they just can't pressure these big businesses the same way that these Media guys can. That's the only thing. But it shifts. And there will come a time where, like, there will definitely come a time where influencers and creators are billboards. And there's a new thing. And the new thing's going, these fucking creators, they never have to prove their worth. Blah, blah, blah. They'll be seeing it in a podcast or whatever that is.
Yeah. That's TikTok. That's TikTokers looking at Instagrammers. That's exactly what I'm saying right now.
100%. Right? And it's like,
they're like, why do they?
Yeah.
What do they have to? What does that static post do?
Yeah.
Like, what does that do?
Exactly. Like someone with 30,000 followers on Instagram can get more than a 500,000 TikTok person, right? He's getting all this engagement. It's like, yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Like, it's just the establishment.
I always joke at events with TikTokers, like, you just wait, our time is coming. You just wait, bro.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? I watched a real good video on that, and we're getting totally off topic of what I want to ask, but I'll get back to it. I watched a really good video on that, like the problem with short form video, like how it's broken at the moment because so TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, none of them can make money off the Reels, Shorts, and TikToks. They haven't figured out how to get ads to work. And obviously, yeah, because people flick past it and whatever. And even on Instagram, in his last board meeting, he said to the Meta board that, like, the more we push people to Reels, the more we lose money. He's like, that's how it works. If we're going to push people to Reels, we're going to lose money. So we might get all this engagement and viewership, but we're going to lose billions of dollars. So they've got a dilemma on their hands. TikTok's always losing money, and YouTube is pretty much the same way. And so they have to solve, like, how does that happen? The moment that's solved, because it will, they're billions and billion-dollar companies. TikTok wins. Like, now you're on. Like, if TikTok can figure out how to make bank, and creators and everyone can figure out how to get ads to work on the platform, then it's on.
Do you know how I think it will happen?
Yeah.
I think that the brand deals will flow through the apps. So they will source you the deals. They're kind of trying to do it.
Yeah.
They're now, but they will source you the deals.
Yeah.
They will facilitate them, and then they will promote them or not promote them or put them on there.
Yeah. TikTok Shop. Have you looked into that?
Yeah.
Because the guys in the UK, so we took some agencies over there, and they it's all done in the app. So the creator gets their cut straight from it, like Amazon Associates and stuff. Yeah, I think you're right too. And I think YouTube's got a good opportunity to go, because they got session time. So that's one of their big things. Like, there's retention, but then there's actual user session time. And if you can help the session time grow, they promote more of your videos. So if you watch a short and then there's like a thing down the bottom going, watch the full long form here, click, and it increases session time. Because they know they can convert on the long form for ads. That's already proven. So if they can do something like that where they get people over to long form and help creators go wide of shorts and then go into long form, I think that's how it'll get there. But well, tell me about your YouTube, actually, because I was going to pop into that and we'll just bring it up the list a little bit. Speaking of YouTube,
I've seen on a few videos you just start bringing people's stuff.
We'll just bring it up. The YouTube, you've just recently started with the long form. Right?
Yeah. I've made 3.
3, right?
Yeah.
And they started off really well so far for like a brand new channel. Well, brand new channel, brand new videos, long form. You're not happy with it?
Nah, but it's okay because my first love is the making of the video. So if you're, and this is where everyone gives up.
Yeah.
People's first specifically people that make short form content and then try and make long form content, they aren't getting the same feedback, and so they give up. So, but I think that's
Daniel
because
Rhodes.
they go.
That's what he told me. Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
I don't want to add anyone.
No, but he's good dude. But it was a good, idea.
So if you can't, so people like, because they're not getting the good feedback that's motivating to keep making content, they won't keep making videos. Yeah. But like I said before, my first passion is making videos. And say everything went away tomorrow, the algorithm stopped loving me, and I just one of those crazy that fall to no views. Yeah. I would still make videos. Yeah. And because that's what I love to do. And so it really is a superpower, because you don't need the feedback of the views and the comments. Like it's great, but you're far less likely to stop somewhere along the way. Yeah, you have far less opportunities to stop something like if you just like making videos. Yeah, on YouTube, I also like learning. Yeah. So I've enjoyed the process about learning. About retention, like learning about pacing, learning about how you tell a story in a longer form. Yeah, and I have good friends too that have the time to like review videos and talk with me, and they're geeks as well about the algorithm, and it's just fun to talk about it. And so I'm enjoying that journey, and I'm going to keep going on that journey. I got 2 cool ideas that I'm working on at the moment. One is trying to learn to manu as an adult. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
And the video that today, which is that gourmet kina pie.
Yeah. Nice.
So, but it's cool exploring a lot of long form ideas, and it's happened with about 10 TikToks already. Yeah. Is that sometimes I've explored the idea in long form, and then I've decided that it's actually better as a short form video, and then I'll turn it into a short form video, and that's happened with 3 of those. Yeah, the longer videos I made started as short form, and then I made them into a long form idea.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And what is that? Like, what made you make the switch? Like from there's a long form idea, now I'm gonna make it short. What was it about it?
I just wanted to learn this. Like, this is the
sorry. I mean, like, what made you go? I've got this long form idea. Oh no, actually, it's a short idea.
That the pacing is not enough to keep going for a few minutes, and the viewer would enjoy the content more if it was short and very cool.
Short and fast. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. Makes sense. Yeah. And so this is like a long-term plan?
So this thumbnail here is made by one of my good mates who is like, I don't know if you know what Overtime is, but it's like one of the biggest media accounts for like, it's like Bronny James, like they follow all the kids. This is like 20 million followers. He's like the editor for them. Cool. And I messaged him and I go, bro, it's my first YouTube video. Can you make my thumbnail? I said, I got you, bro. He lives in New York now. He's from here though.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And he makes my thumbnail, and then and I wasn't just gonna hit him up like by real successful times to keep making my thumbnail. So I made the other 2. Yeah. And it's subtle, but his is obviously made by a master who he has many 50 million view videos with his thumbnail, and then these are made by me. So it's a very shout out Sammy. Yeah. Shout out Overtime.
I love it. Yeah. It is an art form, eh? Yeah. Like our team have tried to make YouTube thumbnails for like Stan Spaney and other things that we've done. And like we'll do something, and there's just something about it. Like we're just like, this isn't right. Like it's not right.
Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen Mr. Beast talk about that he spends 50,000 per video on the thumbnail. Yeah,
it's crazy, eh?
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, because it's everything, right? That and this here is like for long form.
That was ChatGPT.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I love that.
Shout out ChatGPT. These two are me.
Yeah. And it's pretty crazy, like when you think about the view count.
I just want to say that on that title. Yeah. Shout out to my best friend George, he's always keeping it real with me. He said, I need to acknowledge with that title that I'm very privileged to live on the coast, have a boat, live at the beach, and I didn't feed my family with $0. That was a lie. That was a clickbait title.
Yeah, but it's clickbait, but the sentiment is there of what it actually means.
I know that, but I appreciate my friend George, who's always keeping me in line.
Always keeping me in line. It is a privilege to live where we live, and especially where you come from. And we talk about that. I talk about that a lot with people, like when it comes to privilege, because there's like a lot of, like I get a lot when I have people on here talking about their stuff, and you know what comments are like people go on and always talk about privilege or how people get stuff, and it's like, we're all privileged in New Zealand to start with, because like as soon as you look at any other country, like it's all relative. Like privilege is relative. There's some real privilege out there, people who have got real good shit, and there's levels of it. So it is good to make sure you're there, but like still, like I've watched it, it's like your stuff is genuinely like living off the land almost, right? Like diving in there, getting what you need.
I think why I'm gonna give you might not want to keep this in, but I'm gonna give a real serious answer. I think something that's been on my mind lots lately is that I am telling the story of a perfect life, which I think I am aware that the audience have some suspicions about that, because naturally not all life is perfect. Yeah. But in particular, like I'm privileged that I can be home, and I'm privileged that I can have the opportunity to be working on my reo Māori, connecting with my whakapapa. I live 20 minutes from my marae, and not all Māori get to have that opportunity, but in this stage age are craving that opportunity, and it's very, very hard to do all those things. And so I'm going to figure out how to talk about that more, so that particularly I think kind of talked about this when he was talking about being aware of his Māori, specifically his Māori followers. Yeah, is that I want to figure out a way to talk about that, so that people Māori living in Australia, living away from their family, living like away from the opportunity to connect to their taha Māori, don't feel as bummed out by that, or that it's impossible, or it'll never be for me, or because I have a very specific set of circumstances that have allowed me to do this. And so I'm going to figure that out, how to tell that story in the right way for Māori.
It is a hard one, eh? I don't know, like if you belong to Whāriki, the Māori, there's a Māori business network here in New Zealand. They're owned by, they're run by government, but they put out a thing the other day about how that opportunity to connect with, your marae and your iwi and all that sort of stuff when you don't live near it, or you live abroad or whatever. And so there's this idea of like, how do we take that to the digital world, and how do you create digital spaces for digital maraes, essentially, right? Like these digital places where people live, because the world's changed so much. And how do we and they don't know the answer, obviously, but I think it's a good conversation. I think you're right. Like it's a story that needs to be told, because even like me, like my family's from Cook Islands, and for us who grew up here, like you don't have that connection with it because you didn't grow up there, and all you have is dad telling you off in Cook Island, and that's about the closest you get to the connection. Like how do you have that story too? Because I always find it real difficult to talk about being a Cook Island or Pacifica person as well, because like I didn't grow up that way. Like I grew up around all my Pacifica family, but like I didn't grow up as an islander. And when I have family who come from that space and then live here, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really not a Pacific Islander person, am I? Like, but then that's probably the wrong way to look at it too. So it's a difficult conversation. I don't know. I have no clue what the answer is, but I think for me, what I found when I moved back to New Zealand was what I really loved about moving back here is how far the conversations moved forward. So I left in 2008, and back then, like, I know it's still got a long way to go, but even the conversation, even the fact that we're having a conversation about this wouldn't have happened back then. Yeah. And like, I love that. And even around Pacifica, like the state of the Pacifica world as well in New Zealand, obviously the Māori world has moved a lot further because it's their land, but then the Pacifica people have also started to get their voice off the back of what the Māori people have been able to do for them, which is cool. So yeah, no, that's cool. Anyway, we're pretty deep and heavy there for a little bit. It's always good. I wanted to talk about the storytelling concept that you keep talking about. And when you were here last in the studio, you told me the story about Kiwa eating kina for the first time. And I love the way that your brain worked there, because you were like telling the story. I think you made it like 3 or 4 parts or something like that. Like
it had 8 parts.
8 parts. Oh yeah, there you go. So even more than I remember.
Yeah. And she ate kina at the 5th part, but I felt that the story hadn't been told yet, and I wanted the story to go on a longer journey, so that I made more videos until we told the story of her eating it, and then we were able to tell the story of her eating it, and then loving it, and then not sharing it, and then after that there's now like 20 plus. Because my commitments to the story and my how I tell the story of the idea. The idea is that my daughter didn't like kina, she then liked kina, and then now she eats kina, and I'm not I'm not a doc. It's not a documentary of my life. I'm a storyteller. So it's the essence. It's the essence of the story that I'm telling.
Yeah.
So that I think that the story can be curated and then told in the best possible way.
Yeah.
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 I was speaking on a panel last night that we were talking about truth and trust and the brand, and I kept thinking of that. I was like, I don't know how to say this in the right way. I was thinking about something, but I don't know. I'm not going to answer that because I don't know how to say that, because I believe sometimes you can have the truth of the idea.
Yeah.
It's not a documentary. You're telling the story of it. Yeah.
I love that. Like the old saying of "Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story," right? Like, and I totally agree.
From my grandma. Shout out my grandma. I love it. We call it Grandma GST.
Oh yeah.
But she's telling a story.
Love it.
Love you, Grandma.
No, but I that bit where you said it wasn't yet right to tell that piece of the story, and how you're saying don't document. You're not it's not a documentary. You're telling stories. I find that a real insightful piece. I think a lot of creators.
I posted this before I had breakfast.
Oh yeah, so. Nice. Doing well. Starting off well. I think that's a real important thing, and people don't figure that out. I love this. I love the eyes. I love their eyes, like chicken all things, chicken all things, chicken all things. I love that. I can see it. No, but I think that's a real important thing about storytelling for people, is because when I talk to a lot of creators, they don't think that way. They're not thinking about telling a story. They're just thinking about one-off things, or they're thinking about, I've got to put some stuff out or whatever. But you even do it with your ads. Like, even with your ads, you think about it that way, where like they're obviously not going to perform as well as some of your other videos. Like your one here, ASB one that you put out, it's still going well, but it's not, it's not a thing. But you still tell a real good story in that. When you think about that, so way back before you said, oh, this is storytelling. How does that sort of stuff manifest inside your head? Like, what's that process like for you? Is it just, it's there? Or do you have like a methodical way that you work through things?
I think not to compare myself to Mr. Beast, but he always talks about this on podcast, that his brain is always thinking about story. To the point where he's thinking about retention in a normal conversation, about like, if this was recorded, like, well, this conversation would have dropped off. Yeah. And so like my brain is so into storytelling, and via that content creation, that I believe you can tell a story with anything, you know? And so in the day, I'm never short on like inspiration. Yeah. Like I've told you before that I'll look at trends because that's part of the dance with TikTok. It's both, it's back and forth. And so every day my schedule of posts will have ones that are just strictly about my family. I'm 151 days straight of making the vlog. Yep. Oh, is it 141? Yep. What are you on?
145 yesterday.
Oh, I must be 141. Yeah. Because I started my vlog because of your vlog.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, because I was like, I can do that.
Like, I'm just inspiring the greats out here.
Yeah. Like you have. This is honestly my thought. But I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. At the time, I was like, I have way more time than that guy. Yeah. I'm going to make a vlog that's way better than his vlog. And it wouldn't take that much out of me. Yeah. And so I just started it. Yeah. And every day the vlog will get 250,000 views now. Yeah. And so now I do vlog. Yeah. Vlog. Yeah. This will go up there too. So they always slow burn, but they'll always go there. Yeah. And then the cool thing now is that it's like how I watch your vlog every night. The time I post it every night, you gotta post it at the same time. By the way, I wanted to tell you that.
I know.
It really hurts you that you post. There's like a 4-hour window you might post it. Yeah. So.
100%.
Yeah, because people have habits, but you're relying on the time that they'll be lying there usually to come up to be moving around with you.
Bro, 100%. Nice. There's a reason we're pulling Connor into more of my content to help me be faster.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. Anyway, so the so people, so I feel very blessed, very thankful that people every night choose to do their lying on the couch or like lying in bed to finish the day in New Zealand or waking up on the other side of the world with watching my vlog, watching my recap of my day. And it's so cool because people are they know what I did every day and they go on a journey with me and they're so supportive. Yeah. So that now you can scroll back, I get to start doing brand deals with, I did a vlog. Oh, if you go down, let's do
warehouse stationery. No.
Yeah. Do warehouse stationery.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. Do this one. Yeah. Do this one. So it's cool because then you can start to work with like brands that you're working with.
Yeah.
And you can do it in your vlog format and like tell like a real cool story.
Yeah.
You know, shout out Lisa.
Yeah.
Me and Lisa always comment on each other's brand deals.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Smart.
I learned a lot from Lisa about blogging. Shout out to the goat, Lisa. You if you made more vlogs, that's the biggest thing holding you back, Lisa. Yeah. You make more vlogs. You make more vlogs.
She should. Her vlogs are the best.
They're the best. She's so good. I've actually told her she should do a stand-up set, and she thinks I'm joking, but she writes jokes. That's what she does.
That's what she does.
Like that. Her vlog, her voiceover is a monologue for a stand-up set, and
she would kill.
She's so good at it. She's so good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The downside of that is you have to think of jokes all the time. You have to tell a great story. Whereas mine is not funny. No. But it's so she boxes like Lisa won't mind me saying this. Lisa boxes like Ali. Yeah. And she's going for knockouts, and I box like Mayweather.
Yeah. 100%. Just in for the marathon. Yeah.
But Lisa's vlog's been crushing it. Like last few weeks she's had a 2 million plus every week. So
that's crazy, eh?
Yeah, it's on.
She's very good. Like when I spoke to her and we're talking about like voiceovers and stuff, and she was just like, it just comes to her. Like she's just like, I just rattle it off then. Like I don't even have to really think about it. I just can do it. And I'm like, that's such a skill. And like you're right. Like if she just took that and focused it into a stand up or whatever it might be, and she'd sell out in New Zealand. Yeah,
or maybe it won't do more. Maybe part of the success of the video is that people have to enjoy the 2 a week. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
No, make more videos, Lisa. Yeah. More is more.
That's what I always say too. Like, tell me about that thought of for you, quantity approach. Like, you're obviously very talented at making videos and stuff. So you're probably a little different to like the average person just jumping in and doing it. But like, why quantity? What's your perspective of that?
Okay, so I have two thoughts.
Yep.
That you definitely have to be considered in that you can only appear on someone's For You page so much.
Yep.
You know, then only the most diehard of supporters, and I actually have a group chat for those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the chat. You guys are amazing. I love you. Like they watch every single video, support every single video, but that's not 1.1 mil.
No.
You know, so you only have so much real estate to occupy on the FYP. So the more chances you throw up, the more opportunities you have for something to land.
Yeah.
But you only have so much you can be on the FYP. So my sweet spot, I think, is because I've been at periods where I've done 10 a day.
Yeah.
So, but my spot I'm in at the moment is 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening.
Cool. Yeah.
So that's and
just on that, sorry to cut you off sentence. Is that because of capacity or because you've seen it work at the best?
So that's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Is I have so I could not make videos for the next month. Yeah. And that's not even young.
Oh,
so
really?
like I have so many edited film videos that are in my thing, and it's crack up because sometimes when I reach for a video that's like 2-3 weeks old and I'll post it and it'll blow, I'll be like, man, what? Like, because sometimes you just can't see what you can't see it. Like you don't 100%. Know. You don't always know. I like to say 50% of the time I know why it hit. 50% I don't know. I don't understand it. But I'm always trying to understand why it performed the way it did or the way that it didn't. And because I make so many videos. I make so many videos, and I know that I only had so many cracks before you're kind of hurting yourself. So So I always open with the vlog. So every night at 8 o'clock the vlog goes. And because that to me that is the most important. You know, the 200. It's anywhere from 150 to half a mil. That's where it goes. But I say 250 because it's kind of the average. And that's my most important video, so it always goes first. Cool. So that has the best chance if I'm going to get a push from the algorithm. I'll always do that one first.
Yeah, fantastic.
And it's also the one I care about the most. So even if sometimes I have videos I know that would perform better, like views wise. But it wouldn't do more for connecting with the audience. Which is like really important to me. So I always do the vlog.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so there is a method to you.
Do more vlogs, Lisa.
Do more vlogs. That's cool. I like that. So what I really like about this conversation, which I honestly thought it was because the last time we spoke, I could already see it, is that how you're like a real student of the medium, and that you don't get that a lot in creators.
Yeah, I was on a panel last night with Terrell, and I like outed him, like, cause he's like a master at like making you think he didn't try at this video. But no one edits a 10-second video more than that. He's spent a month on every frame, like every part, the hook, the finish, but he likes everyone to think that he didn't put. The great creators care so much about what they put out,
right?
Yeah,
every single.
It's not spray and pray.
It's like Mr. Beast when you watch him and like they'll spend 3 months on a video, $4 million, and then they'll scrap it because
that's good. Do you see like when he gave the video to another YouTuber? Have you seen that? No. Well, a YouTuber asked him because he told him that exact fact that he sometimes scraps videos, and he asked him, "Can you give me one for my channel?" And he gave him the video, gave him the thumbnail, and he posted it on his channel. It's a great story. I don't know. I haven't seen that one. He just gave him the whole thing. It has nothing to do with the creator that posted it. Yeah.
And how did it go?
Great.
That's the best. I love that.
But
not good enough for him.
But not good enough
not 100 mil.
So he knew what what's happening. Yeah.
But I love that. I love that like study of the medium and the form. Like I think that's like when we talk to brands and when we're in businesses that we're bringing on, like even where our team has still got a lot to learn and a lot to go, and we know that, compared to other agencies, they don't live and breathe it. Like they live advertising. They just live doing deals with brands as opposed to like, when I say agencies, like advertising agencies, as opposed to brand agencies, but or talent agencies. But they don't live on the platform. Like they don't consume. They're not there. The founders are definitely not posting daily vlogs, trying to like my reason for doing daily vlogs was teach me to pull my camera out more, because I'm not a creator by heart, right? Like I'm a business person by heart. These guys are the creators. Yeah. So my thing was to pull it out, but also by putting it on every day, I'm on every day, and so I'm living in it, and I have to be in it. Yeah. And I love that, to hear that from you, because there's not very many creators we get here who are like that. Like Lisa's probably one of the only other ones that kind of went down that line. Yeah.
Well, she's a businesswoman, so like,
that's it.
Like, the way her mind is wired to go all the way down the rabbit hole.
And that was like when her and I talked, we talked from that angle too. We get told off by the boys. We went down that angle with her, that she like all her ways she thought was the way I thought about it as well. She's just way more talented than I am when it comes to making videos. But I love that idea of you being a student, because I think a lot of creators don't. And if you were thinking about like creators listening to this, especially the guys coming up, how do they get into that mode? Like, how do you get excited by it? Like, I know for you it's quite natural, but what advice would you have to get them excited about storytelling and studying the craft? Because they don't.
I think you'd have to think of it like another discipline that you that you're passionate about, but you have waves of motivation. So like you'd have to think of it as a discipline, like every great guitarist, what hasn't always been a great guitarist, but they approach it as a discipline so that they could be good at it, so they could enjoy it more. Yeah. And so you're like making content. You can love making content, but it won't amount to anything if you're not disciplined. There are organic stories where it just happens. Yeah. But longevity will only, because I never blew up. Like if you look, I have 100 million likes and 1.1 million followers. Like my ratio, there's no one in New Zealand with my ratio. Like my, like I don't know. Look, you need to show an example. Put a graphic up when you actually upload this to show other New Zealand creators 1 million. Like you'll be like, so like Leighton, like he has 4.3 mil, but like I'm not dogging Leighton's likes, but like that's how his content is so great that people go, I want to follow this, right? Yeah. Whereas like I've just understood what hits with algorithms for so long, but hasn't translated to follow. So this is a grind. Like this is every day, whether people will follow me or not, I make videos. So I think my advice would be, it's not a sexy answer, but it'd be discipline, which is that you have to think of it like anything you want to be good at and you think you're passionate about, you have to do it every day. Whether it's Christmas Day, whether you had shitty things on that day or whatever, you're busy, you have to think of it like if you're into your exercise or your yoga or your reading, you have to think about it as those things that you're working on. It's a discipline.
That's
why you set challenges like you of the daily vlog, because then you're accountable to a discipline, not to motivation.
Exactly. I agree. And it's something that I try to tell a lot of our guys.
Make more vlogs, Lisa.
Yeah.
Make more vlogs.
Everyone just make more. It's the practice, right? The practice of putting it out.
Just keep Lisa listening.
Yeah.
She'll be Lisa, waiting for the next one, but I'm not going to say it for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Lisa, wait till the end. But I say that to like Joni. That was one of the reasons when she started. I said, you need to get to making 10 TikToks a day for attention seeker. Not because we need 10 now, but because you need to learn the discipline of how do you make that much? Yeah. So that's cool. It's a similar answer that I would have taken to it. All right. As we start to wrap up this conversation, I actually want to get into how we touched on it a little bit before about your privilege and how you're able to live up north. But I want to know, like, how are you doing that? Like, I actually don't know the answer to this. Does your wife work as well? No, I didn't think so. And so you must be doing all right financially. You don't have to give me specific numbers, but like, I know you're living up north and you're on some family land, but like, are you earning, like, is your salary that you're earning or the money that you're earning enough? Would it be enough like for a normal person to live on? Like, are you at that level? Or is it just that you got some privileges to be where you're living that you don't have costs as high? Or like, what's the makeup there? Or is just revenue really good right now?
Okay, you asked me 10 questions, but I'll try and work my way through the questions.
The question is, are you
how do you do it? How do you do it?
How are you doing it? How are you sustaining it?
Okay. So I live at home. Like I live where I grew up. So that's my land. You know, that's where my whānau are.
Yeah.
You know, and I live out in the middle of nowhere, so in the Wop, so there's not a lot we can do. But yeah, I think a normal person could live off where I make. I make a very normal wage making income. It's not crazy. Yeah. You know, I can't live like a great life, but I did have a good job in the university realm, and I, you know, as we were winding that down and preparing to go, I wrote down on a piece of paper. We worked it out, me and my wife. What is the minimum amount of money we need to be with our kids? Yeah. Like, and we looked at it as a year, then that block actually became 2 years. Like, what is the minimum amount of money if the only priority is being with our kids and being well? And then the day it crossed over that with like brand deals, where it looked like, we have that now. So like, even if at that point when I left my job at university, I was like, if we go home to where I'm from and live this life, we can have 2 years with our kids. And so we just looked at it like that. We're going to have 2 years of our kids, and that's the priority, to watch our kids grow up and be around our family, let our dog run on the beach, you know, all that good stuff. And then I didn't have like heaps of faith, but the logic is, if don't go to a full-time job all day, and then you make videos around that, and you have more time and more brain capacity to think about making videos, you'll grow, and then everything else has exploded. And so I had 32 staff, and that is not in my brain anymore. I don't have, and like I love that. I'm very thankful for that time. But I spent so much time thinking about, is everyone okay? You know, how are they going with their path? How can I support? I just had everyone on my mind all the time. And when all of that freed up, you know, when I was driving out of Wellington, you know, and I let them, like, it was like euphoric. Like, I have so much more of my mind. First of all, for my wife, who like sacrificed heaps for me to always be thinking about work. You know, for my kids, for my dog. You know, that I just couldn't be present because I was always thinking about work. And then the little bit of me time that was, you know, for my brain, I'll make videos with, and that would bring me joy. But since I freed all that up in my mind, like, it's so much easier to make videos, you know, come up with great ideas, you know, be present in the moment, you know, be a great storyteller, be happy, be well. And it seems obvious to quit. If you quit your job and you go live at the beach and you fish and dive all the time, hang out with the kids, you'll be well. But that's the privilege that 1.1 million people gave me. And I was so thankful that I got chosen, really. Like, I was given that opportunity by 100%. The audience to come, you know, like when people like give me money on live stream and stuff, like, it's because, you know, people want this to work out for me. People want this to happen. People want me to be with my kids and be with my family. And I'm really, really thankful for that. that's the answer.
Yeah,
I'm privileged. I'm from
Yep.
a privileged land-owning Māori family, so like
Yep.
you know, me and my whānau are good.
Yep.
So like and so that's not everyone's situation. I
Yeah,
acknowledge
yeah.
that. I try to talk about it where possible online, so people know
I've
that.
seen that. Yeah.
And you know, it's even that kind of stuff that like what they just showed right there, where I'm out on the boat over a week and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I have a privileged life. I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a creative first. Well, I'm my family's first.
Yeah.
But before I'm a worker or a business owner or anything like that, I'm a creator.
Yeah.
So while like you've had criticisms in the past about the structure of agencies or like brand deals and stuff, it has enabled me to in this season to be with my family, my kids, and I am okay with the deal of what it is to do work in this industry. I'm okay with that trade at this stage because my first priority is to be at home with my family, which has been given to me. And the second is that I get to make videos all day. And it's what's the minimum amount of brand deals that I need to do so that I can make videos all day and be with my family. And that is my, for at least this 2 year, because we're playing with house money. For these 2 years where I'm home with my family, hopefully the 2 becomes 3, the 3 becomes 5, the 5 becomes 10, the 10 becomes never. And what's the minimum amount of work I need to do to be with my family?
And I love that answer. And that 2 year, like just for like clarity for other people, that 2 year window that you have, was that a number for those 2 years? I have that money now.
Yeah, I had it.
Yeah. So it's like a runway, right? Like you've got money. If nothing comes in.
Yeah, if I never do another brand deal, if I never work another day,
perfect.
And we live a very simple life. It was everything was down to tea. We would be okay. So it was with house money, and then so for my wife, it was like, you have a chance to make your dream happen. I remember I told my best mates this. I remember when I told this, and we're all sitting around the table, and it's hard to share your dreams with anyone. But telling them you want a near impossible dream, which like next to no one gets to have, which I want to make content for a living. Like, and I remember I shared that you got to share your dreams with the right people. And they were just all for me, like not fake either, like very, very real. Like you can do this, I can make it happen. And then, and everything's been great this year.
And then tell me, has that 2 year runway stayed the same, increased, or have you had to dip into it over this period of time? Because it's only been since October, did you say? No. When did you start this? October.
Last year.
So have you had to dip into that 2 years, or have you been able to sustain?
Nah, the 2 years keeps growing.
Cool.
And now my wife is like in the space, like she's doing her own brand deals and stuff. Cool. She just hit 120K.
Love it.
Like she's doing her own thing and stuff.
Awesome.
And
so it's just growing.
My goal is one for her. My wife was a teacher. And she loved her kids. She's passionate about teaching, but it was really hard to see what you had to give to your kids at school and what that potentially takes away from your kids at home. And so I never want her to feel like she has to go away from our family to earn money. Like I'd never want her to feel like she has to, and I want her to feel like she has a choice. And so creating opportunities, my hope, I don't know if you're going to ask me a question about business or making others, but the main or the only incentive for me doing an enterprise or monetizing aggressively or more in my space would only be to offer her the opportunity to work the back end of something or the front end of something, so that she doesn't have to go take a job she doesn't want to take.
Cool. I love that. It's the same with me and my partner. When we quit our jobs running hotels and she was in events, it was to do whatever we want when we want. And for me, that is business because that's what I love. But for her, it wasn't. And so she works with us in the business, but like these guys she doesn't even have a desk in the office because she's like, I'm pretty sure she's at golf right now. You know, that's what she wants to do and she loves. And it was the same thing, right? Like, and she's like, and it took a good year and a half for her to she felt useless. Like she felt like she wasn't contributing. And I was like, but we said this to each other when we left Melbourne, that we want to do whatever we want when we want. And you don't want to do this. you want to play golf, or you want to. Actually, she really enjoys like keeping me healthy. Like she enjoys keeping me running at 100%. Like, like the guys will know, like she brings me down my chicken and broccoli every lunchtime, so I don't eat fucking Maccas and stuff.
So the same relationship with you and your kid, but it's just
I'm the kid. I'm the kid, but she really enjoys like seeing me perform. So she's like saying, I've got you, but I don't want to be stuck doing work and things like that. And I said, good. Like we don't want that either. So that was always our life. But I love business. I mean, you see my content as what I live and breathe. I am going to ask you about business because I do want to know future, because
just quickly before we move off and clear, I like that she's a feature character that comes in every now and again. She's like a guest appearance on the show. I like that when she comes in. I like the running joke with Joni of the proposal. Like I like that. Yeah. I'll get in early. I'm actually a celebrant. I've been a celebrant for 4 years. Just to marry my mates. Yeah. It has its pros and cons, but I'll just put it out there. I'm a celebrant. I marry people.
Maybe you should talk to Joni and then get something tied up there.
Yeah. But if you're a celebrant, you never like I got some best mates, and I'll never be a best man or groomsman again because they automatically assume. 2 of my best mates just got engaged to each other. Free and Blake, I'm gonna say their names, and I had to say it to Free the other day. I was like, I don't want you to assume that I'm gonna be the groom, because I think I could be her maid of honor, I could be his best man. I'm looking at you two.
I love it.
I said you can't assume that I want to. Anyway,
that's too good. Well, you might just get a call up for an offer, because I got to propose first.
That'll be good for your content. That'll be good for your retention on your wedding videos.
Yeah, 100%.
I know that face.
Tell me, what's the future? What's the business like? How do you see this growing? Is it a continuation of brand deals, or is it establishing something for yourself?
Yeah. I think eventually you have to be something else. I think eventually there will have to be something else. There have to be an iteration. The way my mind works, I think I'll enjoy learning about something new. Yeah. I'll enjoy that process. My big deterrent, I kind of talked about before, is I never want staff. So it have to be at a scale where I would never, So like working with like a company that though you outsource elements of that role, like creators that do a product or a merch, but they don't do any of that. They're just theirs is to get the sales. Yeah,
exactly.
And so because I don't want stuff, and I don't want that load. Like the best of me, the best of my heart is for my family, and it's not for making sure everyone else is all good. Because I know that's what great leaders do. That's what great heads of organizations do. But that's not. I don't want to do that for anyone else.
Yeah. No.
Sorry.
No, it's a
shout out to all my old staff. I love you guys. I love being nephew, but I'm done.
Yeah, it's a burden, right? It's a huge burden.
Yeah,
I'm the same here. Like I love working with my team. I've always loved working with all my other teams in hotels and stuff. But like, it takes a heavy toll on you because you have to give everything to them, like everything. Like, and I joke about these are my kids. Like, I don't need kids. I've got 16 of the buggers here. Because they take that much energy, right? Like you said, they take you away from your real kids, and you're the same with your wife. So that future business plan, it's not, you haven't really thought about that yet. You're just concentrating on it?
I do have some thoughts.
Okay, cool.
I do have some thoughts. Yeah. I would love to do something in the space of improving wellbeing outcomes for Māori. So I'd love to do something in that space. I'd love to create a resource or do mahi in that space that helps Māori. So work with government agencies, health agencies, and do some mahi there. I would love to do something with fathers too. There's a huge boom in like people doing antenatal online. Like we did it online.
Okay, cool.
And but it's all targeted at women. Antenatal classes. And so like I would love to do something in preparation for fatherhood. To work with dads, because my inbox is maxed out every day with dads that reach out just to share like a beautiful message. But also that a lot of them don't have a space, don't have a community, don't have a. So I'd love to do something there.
Yeah.
And cool. I think there's a real need for it, and I also think that I think it could make an impact, and also I could provide for my family filling that need.
Yeah, that's cool. Our client I was talking about earlier, Orion, he that's one of his things. It's like one of his core pillars for us is fix the men. Like start when they're young, like before they, because he grew up out South Auckland, and a lot of his community, the men when they're young men and they don't have the right environment around them, they go off and do the wrong things, or they don't know how to become the fathers they need to be because they haven't had the support structures around them. And I see it all the time too. So I'm from South Auckland as well, and a lot of the people I grew up, they don't have that support structure around them to do it. Like, how do we provide that? How do we communicate that? Because like you said, your inbox is full of these guys who want some help or want some support. They want it. It's just a hard thing to.
We just want community.
Community, right?
They just want me to know that I know that they think like that.
Yeah.
Me to know.
You know
we
get it.
Yeah.
What I think is quite cool is that like our generation younger, like so anyone sub 40, that the Māori Pacifica world is changing where you can be a bit more vulnerable, because like my dad would never. Like, there's no way my dad's going to be vulnerable. Like, his generation growing up on Otahu, like, there's no way. Like, they're tough old island men. They're not going to say anything's ever wrong ever. Even if when, he's got a bad hip. Nah, I'm good. I don't need hospital. But I see it starting to change. So I think that's cool. That's a cool. There's that guy, we saw him once before, Connor. What was that one I showed you of the guy in Aussie? The Māori fella? He's in Aussie and he gets these groups of men together, and he this is a real powerful video that made me cry, of like a dad and a son, and he just made them look at each other.
I think that's here. You sure that's in Australia?
He's a Kiwi fella, but they do some stuff here, but he's based in Gold Coast. So he's based in Gold Coast, so I think they come back and forth.
And it's like, they're like, look at me. Like, see me.
Yeah. It's like your father seeing you for the first time as a man, sort of thing. That sort of stuff is like super powerful. That's cool. Okay. And do you see that as something that is proper business, or more of like your like a social enterprise, or is it like, how do you see it?
I definitely think it'd be a business. Cool. I think that there's resources in these spaces for this work to happen, so it can make a real impact. But there's resources there for you to have. And I also have a brand that is like it's easy for an agency because government has so much red tape. It's real easy for them to work with me. They have no concerns. Like I talk about this because if you're a brown creator in New Zealand, you either have to be so massive that the brand can't ignore you, and that's two people. I don't want to share their business, or you either have to be so massive that the brands can't ignore you, or you just have to think all day about being squeaky clean. And it's real unfortunate, but like a lot of the brown creators have to take out of it deals with online casinos, vaping like out of it, because they're not in the vein. They've just focused on making videos that get heaps of traction, heaps of views. But they haven't thought in the long term about how their brand could collaborate with companies, or just be in the right spaces for the right opportunities.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's like Mr. Beast's approach, right? We're talking about a lot of that lately. Like, he knew keep it squeaky clean the whole time. Like, he never swears in his videos, never has any of that sort of stuff, because he's a much more attractive brand for all sorts of brands to work with, and he has that huge sort of teenage young audience too that he can support too, and it's just so much more lucrative, right? So much more options. We've talked about it a lot too, like even with like Joni as an example, right? Like, her content's most of the time unhinged as it gets, and that hurts her. Like, that's hurt her heaps on getting brand deals, because they're not really wanting to work with people who look that way. They want to, and then again, she isn't the, she is a brown creator, or she's not your typical white creator that might get options just because it's more appealing and whatever. So, and I said that to her too, like, now that you've left Warnbread, like, if you want to repair your thing, you need to start changing your brand to have
Johnny Lee. Oh, that won't put her story on the.
Yeah.
She should tell that story.
Yeah.
She should tell that story. You know something that's been real important to me about working with my agency that I work with is that they don't sign everyone they very rarely sign. They don't really have any creators on the roster.
Okay.
It's mostly athletes and media.
Who is it?
We're Tenzing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
And so like I always felt like a priority.
And they're doing such good stuff too.
Yeah, it's not like and there's like an arms race at the moment to get every creator on the books, and then like locked up and locked down. But and it feels nice as a creator when you're first coming up, but then they're not a priority, or then they can't eat. Like, all I think when I see people getting signed every week with agencies is that how is everyone going to eat? Exactly. You know, how is everyone going to be home, or how is everyone going to go full time if this is like, you know, only so many people can eat. So, but if you have an office of 10 people that are working on supporting 20 creators, they're gonna be way more successful than 10 people working on supporting 200 creators. 100%.
So, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree. There's no way. It becomes like some of the brands, and I probably shouldn't name names either because I know them, but like some of these companies who have like, they'll boast about having 7,000 creators on their books.
7,000?
7,000. There is a New Zealand agency who boasts that, and it's like, you don't even have 1,000 staff.
Is there 7,000 creators? Is there 7,000? Is there 7,000 creators in New Zealand?
No.
I don't even know 7,000 people that use the C word.
No, they have global creators.
Oh, yeah.
But still, they don't have that many staff to nurture these guys well enough. It's just, all it is sign on, I'll manage your inbox, and they're just inbox managers.
You know, funny story. We're Tenzing's pretty much the only agencies that never asked me.
Oh, yeah.
But what they did way back when I had a few followers is they bought me my first brand deal and said, hey, would you want to be involved with this?
Love it.
And then they stayed in touch with me, but they never actually asked me. And I don't know if it's just like when, like, you know, the person doesn't want to go out with you, and then like you're like, why don't they want me? And they are the only they are who I wanted, and I waited for them.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's awesome, eh? I love that. Yeah. That scarcity approach.
This is a random story that just come to mind. I don't want to forget. I want to tell the story so you can clip it. But I have been with a phone provider for a long time. And I just haven't changed, and I've not been happy for a while. And so I went to change, and you guys signed One. You started working with One recently, and I actually changed to One specifically in Microsoft. I think me and Stan are going to work together on something in the future, and so I'll make sure there's an opportunity for us to do that in the future. And so I changed to One with that in mind. That me and essentially will do something one day with that in mind. So
that's good to know, because that was you turned me down. But you had to, contractually obliged to. Yeah. But that's good to know. I love it, because there's heaps of stuff coming up for it. So actually, Joni,
you got to shoot your shot.
100%. We need an actor to do some funny stuff in store. We'll reach out.
I got to do a vlog. I'm not a very good actor.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. All right, man. Hey, thank you so much for your time. It's already been an hour and 20. The Connor's telling me off for going too long. But I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate all your support as well. For me and my journey, it's kept me honest and kept me accountable for my stuff. But also just sharing your knowledge. Like, I love people who study their craft. Like, it's just something like, today at 3:30 we have an hour and a half session with the team, and we do it every Friday. And today's thing is about learning how to learn. It's part 2 of learning how to learn, because studying what you do is so important, and it's like a big principle of mine, a big value of mine, and we're teaching these guys. And so I think for these two at least, it's quite cool to hear those stories of like people at the top of the game. They study what they do. They're studies of the game. So thank you, appreciate it, and thanks for coming on.
Adios.